Okay, so we're here, and this is a very quick attempt at making a video. This is a language video, so I should say that right now. This is a language, somewhat linguistics video, and I'm just doing it on the fly, doing it live. Not going to go through recording it and then editing it and all that sort of stuff. I've had lots of requests for a lot of time to make new language videos. And the thing is, I'm busy with my real businesses, which has to do with counter violence, zero distance warfare. And so if you've been on the channel, you've probably seen some of that talks about that stuff. A lot of things are in the works. But the point is, someone also told me, said that I have lots of free information out there, high quality information, which is true. I put out loads of information. You need to go through it again and again. The reference material videos I put up that detail a lot of things that the gurus don't talk about because they don't know about it. Anyway, so I'm here in Surakkamai. Suksvaite susedete. Power Linguist no Panampin. Okay, so I'm here and thought I would pull this off here quickly. So what am I focusing on? I had some people ask me, what do you think about the gurus? And talking about the old gurus, and I don't like to go watch their stuff anymore whatsoever because I found it to be repetitive and they haven't progressed. What I did find, I'll cover that and I'll move on quickly from there. So what I found was it looks like Moses is sinking. It looks like people have had enough of his bad attempts at being an actor. Really, that's all he does is he memorizes scripts and goes out and tries to practice them for free on people, and then wants to charge anyone else to learn. In my opinion, that's low. You know, that's low. He lives, of course, in Columbus, Ohio. He hasn't lived in another language environment, milieu. He doesn't have to survive. He doesn't know a lot of things, and he never gets good. He's got a good memory. I've said that many times, but he's an actor. He wants to memorize a script and say the same thing in every language to other people, even though he was hooked up with that guy did Brazilian originally, who has a really great accent. He didn't learn a thing from him because his articulatory phonetics is not improved whatsoever. So get linguist Steve, Steve Kaufmann. And of course, he's still anti-intellectual, and because he failed at Duolingo, that's the video that I sort of watched, he's lambasting it, and everything's about his product, and he wants to do this and that. And then, of course, his product, as I've mentioned before, I have whole videos on that, so you can go look at those videos. I am not going to reference them here. Get off your lazy ass and go through my videos. I'm not here to facilitate people because I'm not getting sponsored. I'm not getting paid for this stuff. I should mention, however, I have had a lot of people ask me, what's the updates with the volume method? A lot of people got confused because I said the German volume method. They thought it was only for German language. It's not. So I'm just calling it the volume method. So you can go to language-busters.com. The volume method has worked for everybody. I have glowing testimonies from everybody who's done it and is still involved in it. There's not been a person who hasn't improved their language abilities. It's difficult. That's the deal. It's difficult. It's not easy. So go to it, try it out, and use it because it's phenomenal. Now, what I'm going to say is I looked at Kaufmann and I looked at Moses, and then I looked at Luca. Luca is, of course, better at the languages that he speaks than either of those two, in my opinion. And he's talking about how to improve vocabulary, which is fine. It's great. It's the same thing, and he's kind of disappeared for a while and came back, whatever. So I have nothing new to say about Luca that I haven't said before. I think he's fine. And if you want to do personal lessons with him, you can. So anyway, so what I did notice, however, because I'm getting link suggestions when I'm looking at these videos are a bunch of new people that I haven't looked at because I can't take these pundits. I can't take these these people. So first one I saw was a Brazilian guy who moved to Canada and obviously lives in Vancouver and is sort of a sycophant of Kaufmann. He moved when he was a teenager, and he had learned English theoretically at least when he was in Brazil. And when he moved to Canada, he had to start speaking. He's in Western Canada. He had to start speaking English. I subsequently learned some other languages. I think he was also learning them when he was younger too. And his languages are okay, and but what he's doing is once again non-empirical. He's saying things that have no backing, and he hasn't provided anything that's credible. He goes through some reviews on different language things, and of course, like I said, he's a sycophant of Kaufmann, which again, after all these years, went over 10 years, and he still has no empirical results, but they've sunk loads of money into making an app, but you can't do any empirical testing. Kind of shows you where he's headed. Money, Kaufmann, you know, the German, actually the German thing from there. Then I went and I saw a kid who's trying to break in, I guess. Oh, these guys are both trying to break into this language guru realm. And this kid has a thing come up, learn any language in 2 months. Well, okay. We all know, anybody with any empirical background knows that this is impossible to learn any language. He said to fluency. And once again, they don't want to determine fluency, which I will say at this point, FSI DLI testing, which is the most rigorous and straightforward, especially for English speakers, is the best because it's factoring in your L1 to what you're learning. So 2 months, I like to see him. I have a list of languages. I'll give him. He speaks some languages already, so I'll give him new languages that he doesn't know. Let's see what he does. So for him to hit fluent would be a 4, actually. A 4. I'll give him a fluent if he hits a 3+, which he in no way in hell will do. Of course, they're not willing to bet me. Anyway, the kid had some people that were saying on his comments, I noticed, that you cannot learn a language in 2 months. It's you know, complete and utter bullshit. And the guy was saying, no, the kid who's got no credentials, no qualifications, obviously doesn't have any empirical background, is denying all that. So, you know, quite frankly, all right, you know, just like I do in the fighting world, if you say you can do it, let's do it. Let's see it. Let's put up some money. I'll put up money. You put up money too. And we'll do empirical testing. None of this pundit bullshit of, oh, I feel like this. That's Kaufmann's, you know, Kaufmann saying, and this other guy too, his sycophant saying, I don't need directions. Bullshit, you don't need directions. You know, this was equivalent to Kaufmann when he said kinship terms weren't important to him. Yeah, in Oriental languages as opposed to Occidental, people need to learn the difference between Oriental and Occidental instead of saying, oh, that's a pejorative Oriental. No, the hell it is. You know, and a lot of languages is Orientale. You know, that's what you call that part of the world, Occidental. That's the other part of the world. Two different mindsets, two different approaches, two different world views. Well, anyway, in the Oriental view, kinship terms are super important. That's why they're super precise, and he doesn't want to learn them. So, I mean, for these guys to say directions are not important to them, where the hell are you know? Where have you lived? What are you doing? And once again, it's people playing with languages. I cannot stand that. It's like people trying to say, well, I just want to throw techniques around in the air. I don't want to really know how to use them in reality. It's not isomorphic. So look that up. Anyways, you see my stuff ties together. But what I'm getting to is because of the fact that I do huge research in anything that's relating to violence and to warfare, I have come across a guy who's very knowledgeable about, I guess we can say ancient, not warfare specifically, but a lot about the blade techniques and things like that. And he's an Italian guy, and his channel is called Metatron. I can switch it. But anyway, he does most of his videos in English. He speaks several languages, and he made a few videos about language learning. Okay, so what do I have to say about Metatron? The guy is an empiricist. This makes the biggest damn difference in the entire world. He has a method, a structure of what he's going through. And he details some of it for free. Now, for you lazy asses, it's not going to help you because you're not going to implement it, okay? So I'm giving you free information about another guy who knows what the hell he's talking about. And so Metatron, and you can tell him if you go check out his videos that I sent you. I don't know why he wants to use a sobriquet, but he does. No Miguel, really, I guess. I don't know why he wants to do that, but for whatever reason. My point being that this guy is a good find. He's somebody new, and he's not specifically in the language guru market. He's actually in the advisor to historical accuracy of arms usage. And by arms, we mean pole arms, pikes, battle axes, different swords, all these things, because all of this is part of my real business. You know, this is what I really do. Language is part of what I do. Of course, as you know, I am one of the only academic people that are in this group of hackneyed pundit language gurus, and my whole thing is to try to keep them centered and keep their lies from expanding. Because what happens is propaganda, research in the psychology of testimony and also witnesses is well known, and propaganda, which is what everybody's using, especially with the political climate as it is, with Soros paying people, mainstream media, all of this. You can change people's opinions of what they witnessed easily. You can also get them to start believing that someone is an expert just by saying it long enough and loud enough. And that's what we got people doing, not only in the language field, but in the fighting field. And it's very clear in the fighting field, these people have never had real fights, and they're going to be experts. That's like saying you're an expert on surgery and you've never operated. And the same thing we got going with the language thing. That's why I've been, before, you can look at all the videos about Moses and everyone else. They are not living in the damn culture. They're not having to survive. And that's why I went on the thing about the shoelaces. I could have easily said that about jumper cables for the car in English, which I don't know what that word is in Italian, for example. I know my Italian is pretty high. I understand a hell of a lot of Italian. And I don't know that word. I don't know that word in Khmer either. I don't know that word Thai. Thai, however, I'm going to do a whole video about Thai because it's a unique situation I find in that. So what I'm saying here, let's just recap this. So this is a language video giving you my take on where people stand. Moses is sinking like the Titanic. Bewildered and making excuses because he fails. It's the fault of whatever, anything else. It's not his fault. It sounds like Clinton. And you got his sycophant who's saying directions are not important to learn. Really? Really? They're not? They're really? Yeah, right. Yeah, what a moron. Okay, and you got the kid who's lying about 2 months, and I just put out my challenge to him. He won't accept it, of course. They never do. Remember when I asked Kaufmann, Benny, and Moses to accept my learning a non-scripted language because they just don't have the skills to do that. None of them did it. They ran from it. Like the day is long. And then, but at the end of the story here, we got a guy that you should go check out. And again, tell him that I sent you, okay? Metatron, Metatron, I think. He has a lot of views, a big channel, and it's mainly about, like I said, weapons. So not firearms, blades, staffs, all that medieval and backwards. So check him out. He's got a lot of good stuff to say. So anyway, here it is, you bastards. You want a language video? Here it is. And remember that to go to language-busters.com because the volume method has never failed anyone yet. It's difficult. It's difficult and it takes work, but you're going to see big benefits, big gains. People are asking me, by the way, I put a new fax part up on the website because people were asking me so many times, and I have more facts up there. So just read that. There's 2 pages of facts actually about the volume method. All right. Anyway, so this is the Power Linguist from Phnom Penh and Liu Hai.